Hey guys, JC here. Uh, if you've been following the channel, I did a review for the Tarot Ironman 680 frame. Also said that I would do a complete video series showing you how to use a clean flight or Betaflight based flight controller on these large multi-rotors and get GPS working, the camera gimbals, so on and so on. But I've been flying it for some time and I found a lot of things that I didn't like about it. So before I went any further and started making this video series, I wanted to switch to something else that I thought that I would like a little bit more. And that is how I came across this Quanum 680 Pro. I got this from hobbyking.com for 150 bucks, where the Tarot 680 frame that I did, that was just the 680, but the 680 Pro cost $114, which is something that I wish I would have gone with in the first place. So yeah, this one is 150 bucks. So what I like about it, what I don't like, I'm just going to kind of go in a random order. I saw some reviews for this before I bought it, and some guys were talking about fitment issues. As I was putting it together, I mean, I almost got completely done, and I was like, wow, everything fit perfectly. I don't know what these guys are talking about. And then I found it on the last step. Putting this top plate on the main body, you can see where I got the majority of the bolts in, but a few just won't go in. Now, I haven't messed around with it too much. I know I can get the bolts in. It's just going to take a little bit of pressure and stretching, and I'm sure they'll go right in, no problem. I just want to mention that. The hardware itself, very high quality. One thing that I do like, I watched a video on hobbyking.com, their review for this, and they mentioned that there's no plastic on it. And I was sitting there thinking like, okay, now seriously tell me just how much plastic is on it and what is plastic. They weren't lying. There is absolutely no plastic on this. Now this could be a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, aluminum weighs more than plastic. I guess I should mention this entire thing is either carbon fiber or aluminum. But like I was saying, aluminum weighs more than plastic, so that could be a bad thing. But the good thing is it's stronger than plastic, which is one of the main problems I was having with the Ironman 680, especially on these arms. I don't know if you can see this, but the motor mounts are plastic on the Tarot, and after breaking 3 of these, and at $6 each, that is what made me decide, well, that was the final straw that made me decide to go with something else. It's definitely very stable. It's just in the design of how the hardware is put together, and with these little things that the Tarot doesn't have. I'm not saying it's going to be more stable in flight. In flight, there's no like pressure on anything or anything like that, but I'm just saying in case of a crash, I believe this may hold up better than the Ironman. It does have a nice battery tray on the bottom. A lot of these large frames are starting to add these on. The Ironman that I bought, like I said, it was not the Pro, so it did not have that feature, but the Pro does have that. But everything went together smoothly. I'm sure it works just fine. Not only are these motor stands aluminum, but once you place these little carbon fiber things on the bottom, there's actually plenty of room. I don't know if you can see that, but more than enough room for your ESC to go on the inside of this, and then you can actually run your wires through the carbon fiber arms right to your PDB. And that is one thing I definitely like, because on my Ironman build, I had the ESCs just kind of taped to the arms and the wires going on the outside. I mean, it works fine. It's not aesthetically pleasing, I guess you could say. Another thing that I thought I would have liked more than the Ironman, but turns out I didn't. The Ironman collapses into a pretty small package, but I thought that this would collapse into an even smaller package. The reason for that is because these arms fold in sideways, where these arms actually fold straight down. I didn't research this, obviously, and so I found out after it was too late, but to fold the arms down, you can actually unscrew these red screws. I wish it took less turns to screw this in, because that's just one. Imagine doing that 5 more times, and then it will fold down. So that takes longer to collapse the arms. Not only that, but the arms don't collapse fully because something gets in the way of every single arm, especially this one. With the battery tray in the way, it's only going to go down about 2 inches. To solve that, that is why they've added in these black screws. You can actually unscrew these, and the entire body of the frame separates from the landing gear. Just like that, and then this completely comes off as easy as that. Now you can take your landing gear and pack it away, and then unscrew all of these red screws and fold all of the arms straight down. Now it is somewhat of a compact package, but you still have the landing gear, and this does not collapse down. To fix this, they do make like electronic retractable landing gear that actually folds up, and you can use your transmitter to make it go up and down. You can even do it in flight. So after you take off, you can move the landing gear up, do your, flying around, and then before you land, bring it back down again. And I do think that's awesome, and that would make this a very compact package. One thing you do need to know is that it is not included. That is an additional expense, and it costs $58.02. So if you factor that into the price, you are now up to about $210. But like I said, for $210, you can have a very compact build, but you still have to deal with unscrewing all these screws. I'm not really a fan of that. Where with the Iron Man, all you have to do is just fold the legs up like that, fold this in like that, clip it in, same thing on this side, and you're done. That easy. So collapsing the Iron Man is about 10 times faster. Now, one thing that really pissed me off about this frame, and that's probably why I'm not giving it such a hot review right now, I knew that the retractable landing gear was an additional expense. Fully aware of that. They even mentioned that on the website. But what they do not mention, and it is very misleading, all the pictures that you see for this frame, they have the your camera gimbal mounting system, which is basically something that ties into this, and then it goes straight down, and your camera sits very low, so that way you don't get any of the arms in your video shots, which does look awesome. And with the retractable landing gear and how low it is, you could definitely put a 3-axis gimbal on it and do some 360 shots, which is great. But this did not come with the camera gimbal mounting setup, and they didn't. And I went back and looked, and I still see that they didn't specifically say that it is not included, and it's included in all the pictures, well, almost all but one, of this frame. And my question is, why doesn't it come with this frame? Who buys a very large hexacopter like this that doesn't want the camera gimbal mounting setup? That's the entire point of this frame, just for aerial photography and cinematography. So of course, if you buy this frame, you want that camera mounting setup. So why is it not included? Why is it an additional expense? So after going back and looking, I did find you can buy it separate for another $23.23. So points off on them for being so misleading. So even if I did buy this and use the landing gear that it comes with, and I don't buy the retractable landing gear, but I do buy the camera gimbal mounting setup, you're still looking at $185, $190, where the Tarot 680 Pro like I said, sells for 114 bucks. And not only that, but the Tarot weighs less, costs less, folds 10 times faster, and it even has an integrated PCB board as the top plate on your main body. So I'm not trying to sound like negative. I'm not trying to like leave a super bad review on this. I'm not saying don't buy this. I'm just letting you guys know what you need to be aware of before you buy this thing. And one last thing that I don't necessarily like about it, this is actually a hex plus configuration, where the Tarot is a hex X configuration. What this means is with the Tarot, this is the front. On this one, this is the front. And I've watched some videos from some guys that they uploaded to YouTube, and even though the camera gimbal sits so low, once they look up or they start gaining any type of speed, you can see this arm in your video. So just to wrap this up, overall I do think that this is a very nice frame. It's a little more expensive than what it should be, especially with competition on the market like the Tarot 680 Ironman. But it is quality, and I'm sure it is a great frame for, you know, really good photo shots and cinematography. Just one last thing I do want to point out. I'm not trying to like act like this Tarot is the best thing on earth, but after I have broken so many of these plastic arms, I just out of curiosity, I was like, you know what? I don't necessarily like this Quanum frame, but I do absolutely love the arms, or the motor stands for it, because they're aluminum. And it just so happens that they fit perfectly on the Ironman. So if you happen to have an Ironman and you're thinking about something else, like just like I was, because these plastic motor stands do break often, if you can, try to track down just these aluminum motor stands off the Quanum, because like I said, it fits perfect. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm just going to remove all of these from the Quanum, put them on here, and really all my problems that I had with this was just the motor stand. So now all my problems are fixed. I'll just go back to using this. So that's going to do it, guys. You got any questions, leave it for me in the comment box. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you next time. Nasty track.